I think VITICOLE might be the best wine club out there for you and definitely for me. What's up, V-Months? I hope you all had an amazing summer. It is beautiful here in Napa Valley now that we are upon harvest. It's September. I'm loving it. The weather's cooling down. It's season. The grapes are being harvested. And it's just that time of year where I get real excited about being in the vineyards. That is why I'm kicking it off with all of these wines you see in front of me here, because yesterday I spent the entire morning out in the vineyards with a guy named Brian McClintic. Now, if you're not familiar with Brian, you may recognize him from the SOMM movies, both SOMM 1, 2, and 3. He's quite famous and quite lovely, and he's also a Master Sommelier. He just moved back to Napa Valley, and he's been kicking ass and taking names, as far as I'm concerned, for the past 2 years with his wine club, VITICOLE. You guys know over the past year, I've definitely thrown my weight behind a few others, one being Vinebox, which I still love for the Wines by the Glass program, the second being Gary V's Wine Club, the $55 wine club that gives you unbelievable value every single month, including shipping, and of course the third in the trilogy that I think is just fantastic. What you see in front of me here, this is the VITICOLE Wine Club, and this is a wine club that I think is unlike any other wine club out there, and you guys need to know about it and get on the wait list. Yes, I said waitlist. There is a wait list for this wine club, but fear not, he does open up spots every few months. So this is why I'm telling you now, because it's only going to get better from here. And I know this because I spent the entire day with him yesterday in Santa Cruz sampling grapes for a project that will be released in 2020. So he's planning that far in advance. But before I get ahead of myself, let's talk about wine clubs for just a second, because there are a lot out there. Not all are created equally, and I wasn't always a believer of the wine club model. A lot of garbage wines, a lot of garbage wine clubs, and a lot of things that I didn't believe in. I think the last 2 years have brought on a lot more quality as it pertains to wine club, and like I said, Vinebox, Gary V, and VITICOLE really fit what I'm looking for as far as what I would want in a wine club. And why do I think wine clubs are great? Well, for one, they really get you out of your comfort zone. They force you to try things you wouldn't normally try, producers, regions, grapes, whatever it may be. Wine clubs are fantastic for pushing the limits of what you felt like you were comfortable drinking when it came to wine. And that's kind of why I love wine clubs. It's easy for me to even get stuck in a rut of drinking the same old thing over and over, especially when I live in a prominent region like Napa Valley, and I'm drinking a lot of Napa Valley wines already. So wine clubs are really important to me. I think it's really great as far as trying to develop your palate, trying to learn about wine and get a feel for what's out there. You know, your local wine shops are fantastic most of the time, but they're limited to what's available through the distributors, and a lot of times that can be a little bit challenging when you're looking for obscure regions and obscure varietals. So that's a little bit why I think wine clubs are great and why you should consider joining one. This is certainly the more expensive of the three that I have talked about. $120-ish for the 2 to 3 bottle selections per month, $220 for the second tier. I will link that all below for you guys. All of the links, by the way, are going to be in the description for Vinebox, Gary V, and for the VITICOLE wine clubs. Let me tell you a little bit about VITICOLE and why I think it's so special. For one, I mean, I think yesterday was a great example of why this wine club is different than any other, and that is because Brian is so hands-on in the selection process of his wines. He's got an amazing palate. It's very discerning. I trust his palate. In many ways, Brian is my trust agent. I look to him for a lot of guidance when it comes to wine. He is actually out there on the ground running, traveling the world, looking for wineries and producers that are doing something that he believes in. Now, many times he will work with the producer and the winery directly to come up with one-off cuvées and bottlings, special barrels that will only be distributed through the VITICOLE Wine Club. And I think we have a few examples of that in front of me here. These are all wines that I have been shipped over the past year of being a VITICOLE Wine Club member. I think this is a really cool bottle. This is Walter Scott Chardonnay coming from Oregon. You'll see Walter Scott out there, but this is really special. This is a single vineyard Chardonnay from Bunker Hill. There are only 2 wines out there that are vineyard designated Bunker Hill. The first being Lingua Franca, and the second being this Cuvée VITICOLE offering of Bunker Hill. Basically, the short version is Brian went up there, tasted through a whole bunch of things in barrel, These barrels had been separated out because they were a single vineyard intended for blending, but because the wines were so stand out on their own, having a Grand Cru Chablis-like feel, very mineral-driven, really bright, really racy, they decided that for Viticole, they would bottle these wines specifically and only release them to the club. So the Bunker Hill Chardonnay is an exclusive. You cannot buy it through Walter Scott. You cannot buy it elsewhere. You could only get it through Cuvée Viticole. I was so excited to pop the cork on this wine. I thought it was so unbelievable that I am now saving it for the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years until I'm ready to drink it again, if I can wait that long. Hopefully I can. For those of you who are still not convinced that this is the best wine club out there, this is Cuvée Viticole Pax Syrah. Now, for those of you who are into things like points, you may recognize this wine. This wine was actually given 100 points by Antonio Galloni, but it wasn't given 100 points until it was released, which means this wine right here was vetted first by Brian McClintic, who brought this to the Viticole Wine Club. So what does that mean? Well, very simply put, Brian went to Pax Mall and said, I want to do a special bottling of Syrah for the Viticole Wine Club. Pax said, sure. They bottled with a special Cuvée Viticole label. So this is Syrah and a little bit of Viognier a la Côte Rôtie. And lo and behold, flash forward, I don't know how many months later, Antonio Galloni of Venice gave it 100 points and took the world by storm, because this is a very unusual 100-point wine. It is not your big, crazy, brownie, chocolatey, intense, really, really ripe, high alcohol California Syrah that you normally see get 100 points. This is only 13, not even, this is only 12.7% alcohol. It is a baby. I opened it way too soon, the first bottle. Thankfully, I got 3 of them. And I will be holding on to a few more of these. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna open this because I think it's worth you guys seeing how good these wines are. So this is gonna be the whole cluster Cuvée Viticole Pax Syrah made from Sonoma Hills. So it's actually a blend of several different vineyards: the Castelli Night Ranch, Griffin's Lair, Walker Vinehill, and Nelson Vineyard. 15 months in neutral French oak barrels. So you would normally see a wine that gets 100 points either from Wine Advocate Barbara Parker or from Antonio Galloni. Definitely wines that are a little bit more high alcohol, big bombastic Syrahs. This is definitely not one of those Syrahs. I'm actually pretty excited to try this again. It's been a little while. Yeah, look at that color. So it was a little young last time I opened it. I am guessing, I'll put it back over here. I'm guessing it's probably going to be a little on the young side again, but that's okay because I think it's worth opening and seeing how this wine developed. It's pretty fruity. It's very blackberry, cassis. There's a little bit of that like sarsaparilla, a little bit of that root beer thing going on that sometimes California Syrahs can get. So I'm excited to see how this is doing in the palate. Wow. Shit. That's incredible. That wine changed dramatically since the last time I had it. A lot lighter, brighter, really, really racing acidity. Not your over-the-top Syrah. This is really beautiful, well-made Syrah that is more indicative of a Northern Rhone style, of course, being a little bit more ripe in style on the nose, a little bit more ripe on the palate as far as the quality of the fruit. Sorry, it's the wine train behind me. It definitely has that like root beer nose, but it doesn't carry through to the palate, which I really appreciate, because sometimes these wines can get really extracted and big and viscous and chocolatey and a little over the top. This is gorgeous, gorgeous Syrah, and I will be holding on to my last bottle of this for a lot longer. That you will not see that removed from my cellar for at least another 2 to 3 years. Let's get one more sipper. Ooh, shit, fuck, that's good, sorry. Wow, it is amazing to have that development of fruit, that concentration of flavor, and still have lift and brightness and freshness, zippiness. Wow, really, truly an impressive Syrah. Wow, that actually went from one of my lesser favorite shipments to probably front and center as my favorite right now. That is incredible. Cool, well done, Brian. Nice job. Just to give you a brief overview of where he's sourcing these wines from, because I do think it's important. He's sourcing them, like I said, from all over the world. So you have everything from Sonoma Syrah, Chardonnay from Oregon, Barolo. You've got this really, really cool wine from the Ribera Sacra. Maison Demi, this was a really cool Cabernet that I was super excited to try. As you guys know, Napa Valley is sort of my specialty, so it's very rare that I don't know a wine that comes out of here, although there are a lot made. Maison Demi, which you guys will be hearing about a little bit later because I have a very special project with them that I will be rolling out probably in the next few weeks or so. Maison Demi is a really cool project where the fruit's all coming from Coombsville. Really great people involved with this wine. I will get more into that later, but this club did introduce me to that wine, and I could not be more grateful. And then of course the Whitcraft Pinot Noir from Santa Barbara, just to name a few. There's also been some champagne in there. There have been some wines from Alsace. There have been I don't know, like a ton of other wines. I've been really excited about this club. And like I said yesterday, I spent all morning sampling grapes with Ryan for a project that will be a collaboration between Matthias and Santa Cruz that will be released in 2020 and distributed to the VITICOLE members exclusively. So I'm super pumped because I think it's really cool to see someone so involved in what they're delivering each month. And not only is he going out and sourcing all of these wines, he's also creating amazing content around it. You're not just getting a shipment of wines and then being kind of left to your own devices to figure out why these wines are so special. He takes a lot of care and thought goes into these blog posts that he does and he crafts. He's very active on Instagram, very active on social media, really great about answering questions and being hands-on, just as I would hope somebody like that would be. So again, I'm just throwing my full weight of support. I think, you know, as far as this channel and I'm concerned, I'm all about delivering you guys value. I'm all about telling you what I think is amazing out there, and I'm telling you this wine club is truly fantastic. Like I said before, there is a wait list. He only buys as much wine as he thinks that he's gonna need. He doesn't overdo it, and because these are one-off cuvées, there is naturally going to be a limit as to how many members he can accommodate at the moment. But be sure to get on the wait list. I know in speaking with him, in the coming months, he'll be opening it up to a few more members, but the list is growing, guys, and it did take me a few months to even get on a year ago when I signed up. So jump on it. Like I said, links are in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get back to this amazing freaking Syrah. I can't believe how good this is. Wow. And have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.